Hi, this is Bhavna and you're watching India Today. I have the cast and the crew of Dono, a film which is soon coming in theatres with me right here. इनको कोई इंट्रोडक्शन की ज़रूरत नहीं है बट मैं बोल देती हूँ. सूरज जी, वेलकम टू इंडिया टुडे. पलोमा, Rajveer and debutante director Avnish. Firstly, a huge welcome, all of you. I'm always curious. We always listen that, you learn by observing a lot of times. यहाँ पे 3 debutantes हैं और एक बहुत ही मतलब दिग्गज डायरेक्टर हमारे साथ बैठे हुए हैं, whom we have also observed as an audience, as someone who has been in the industry as well. You all are debutantes, but you have grown up in the film family, knowing exactly, seeing the highs and the lows throughout your life, right? Now that you're finally in the position, making your own debut, what is that one thing which you have observed since childhood and you know कि ये चीज़ हमेशा से देखी है और आज ये दिमाग में रखना है कि आज डेब्यू तो मैं कर रही हूँ या कर रहा हूँ, and this is something like I don't have to get affected by or be bothered by, or like one thing that you are very cognizant of कि ये चीज़ तो मेरे को affect होनी ही नहीं है अभी क्योंकि nervous energy होगी, it's but obvious, but you also have to realize that apart from the legacy that you're carrying, this is also your own individual debut, which is also equally important. So tell me, who wants to start firstly and then we'll go ahead.
I'll start first.
Yeah, let's start with you.
The one thing I think I've picked up on is that it's the best thing to leave your work at the door when you're home. Carrying it home, it gets a pretty longer day than it should be also. So that one thing that relaxed me also about was that I should not try to be my dad or my dada or my chachas. Having that individual stamp on this industry takes its time, but I shouldn't be pressured by all the greats that have come from my family. That's the one thing I would say that has relaxed me, knowing that I don't have to do.
Although I feel that there's still a bit of nervousness, right? But
yes.
Good nervousness.
yes, it's excitement. And the room is cold.
That helps. We can garb it. We can just say, I am not nervous. It's just that
cold.
It's cold.
It's cold. Goddamn AC.
What about you, Paloma?
Yeah, I think realizing that each journey is a little bit different, and of course I'm just starting mine now, so to enjoy that and keep working hard. I think I keep hearing from my family, let your work talk. That is the most important thing, and I totally believe that. I think all of us believe that, and that's our prime focus, and the work should speak, and that is the only thing that matters in this line for us. Yeah.
What about you, Avnish? आपके तो पापा यहाँ बैठे हुए हैं, तो मतलब pressure तो और भी ज़्यादा होगा. He's also the producer on the film. It's the legacy that you're taking forward. Additional pressure, I would say. इनके तो है, but आपके लिए तो और भी ज़्यादा pressure होगा at this point. What is that one thing that you've learned from your father actually? Because his cinema is a brand in itself. And now, of course, unfortunately सही, but there will always be this comparison that सूरज जी ने ऐसी फिल्में बनाई हैं. Now what kind of a film will Avnish make? First, was that thought in itself scary? Second, one thing that you've learned from him over the years.
First question actually, if you talk about pressure, it's not pressure, but it definitely was a very strong responsibility that we make a good film. It's for all three of us. There are legacies and goodwill. More than legacies, goodwill जो हमें मिली है. So many blessings we've gotten because of how our seniors have contributed to the business and created a good name for themselves. So to do justice to that legacy, we've gotten an opportunity. If you get, let's make a good film. And the one thing that I learned, which helped, in terms of all of this also, so many things I've learned everything I have from my father. But the one thing which he's always done is that to make sure that every single shot is treated with as much sincerity, with as much dedication. Kyunki, like they've all said, your work will talk. And what we can do is put in all the effort we can. Opportunity mili hai, give it your best. And don't take any shot for granted. Don't take any line for granted, any lyric for granted. Give everything your best shot.
And that, Sooraj ji, I have to tell you that not just your directorials, everything that Rajshri has done since the beginning, it always reflects that. मतलब आपने starting से ही, you have never chased box office, but the intention has been to tell good story. Because even a हम आपके है कौन, किसने उस वक्त सोचा था कि it will become a cult? It became a cult afterwards. I don't think जब आप बना रहे थे तब आपने ये सोचा था कि अरे it will be this bigger film. And similarly, that's the conviction you have had in stories, and you always went ahead with it. But in this industry now that अब ऐसा ज़माना हो गया ना जहाँ आप पहले बॉक्स ऑफिस सोचते हो और उसके बाद आप अपनी स्टोरी सोचते हो, थिंग्स हैव जस्ट टर्न. उसमें भी टू कम अप विद अ स्टोरी लाइक दिस वेयर यू नो दैट द स्टोरी एंड द इंटेंशन इज राइट, यू आर नॉट चेजिंग बॉक्स ऑफिस. Because I obviously heard you say that I'm not chasing box office at all at this point. I want to know, how do you keep that purity and that sincerity alive in times when everyone is just chasing numbers? And I know it can be difficult.
Actually, the only way to make a special film is to let the numbers go. Because जहाँ आपके मन में आ जाता है मैं इतना लगा के इतना कमाऊँगा, that's when you put your you close the drawer. You have to realize that this is art.
Yeah.
And this, because अगर मैं आपको बांध के रख लूँ physically तो मैं बांध के रख लूँ, but how can I force you to laugh? How can I force you to feel emotional? Because I cannot. That's the biggest challenge. So if anyone who's going to see a film has to relate to it, and to relate to it, you have to make something special, something which for example I make family films, so मेरा focus हमेशा रहता है कि natural लगे. चाहे वो अमृतसर में बैठा हो, पटना में बैठा हो, तमिलनाडु, उसको लगे ये मेरा घर है. So that is, as a director, that is my biggest challenge.
Right.
So I feel that at Rajshri all our films have been never after numbers. जिस किस्म की हमने ज़िंदगी देखी है, a correct balance of tradition and all, I think that is what has come in us, and I'm happy that's also there for Avnish and for Rajveer and Paloma, because they have grown up in an atmosphere of films, but they have, like when I look at them and I talk to them, it's just like any other normal people, normal kids who have grown up. And I'm very proud and happy to say that when we started this picture, Avnish has taken 5 years to write it. I mean, he went through all the struggles, the amount of tests Rajveer went through, and that also in pandemic. She waited for 6 months.
Wow.
Because whether she'll be casted or not casted. So Dono has been a film of real newcomers. And it is just a conviction as a production house that we need to tell a story, a fresh story. And for me, it is back to where I started in Maine Pyar Kiya, when my father told me, okay, you want to be a director, say something you want to say.
Yeah.
And at that time, I really wanted to say that, a boy and a girl can be friends. I mean, that was what.
And Kabutar also.
Yeah, Kabutar. So when Avnish told me that he wants to make a film, he wants to be I said, okay, what do you want to say? And he said, I want to talk of closure. तो मुझे तो समझ ही नहीं आया कि क्लोजर क्या है. So he said, no, there is always, Papa, something about us which we want to avoid facing.
Right.
But if we face it, then we just, new world opens up.
Yeah.
Then I said, okay, now he can direct because he wants to say something. So if you see their characters, they are much more complex characters than I've ever written, I've made. But I think that's the world of today. But yet they have kept the simplicity. They have made these characters alive. So I'm very proud and very happy that now Dono is there.
I can see that on your face as well.
Oh,
it's reflecting. You know, when you're proud of something. ये especially parents में होता है. You can just know when they look at you with that pride. You know that they're very happy with what has come. But जैसे आपने कहा कि there's always this freshness to the story, but at the same time retaining the core value of the production house, which he's very well carrying it forward. I remember last time we met Salman in a group interview, and he mentioned that आज के time पे आप राजश्री जैसी films बनाता था, that's missing. How are you able to retain and keep that balance even today? Because I find that today is the world of extremes. You can either go all out and make a bold film, or you can do a very conservative one. Very rarely do you see a balance. How are you able to achieve that? And what are the challenges that you have to? Because I'm sure it comes with its own challenges. How do you do that?
It is just intrinsic what you really want to make. And it always has to be the kind of life you have led. Honestly, a filmmaker makes only what he has lived. For example, I'll tell you, when I made हम आपके कौन, तो JP साहब met me. हम लोग एक ही थे. And JP साहब says, यार तेरी फिल्म में सब इतने हंसते क्यों हैं? तो मैंने कहा JP साहब बोले, no, life is like रेगिस्तान, where things are dry. So you see, every film now he's been a self-made man. So the ones who they've seen harder. Now I've lived a life like this. Like he's put in his film, we have 15, 16 of us in one house. Similarly, joint family. Rajveer has grown up. So जो हमने जिंदगी देखी है, director वही बनाता है. So I think it comes only from personal, and those are the films which become special.
Yeah.
Because they should come. When I made Hum Aapke Kaun, people told me, they kept calling me. I was 28, 29. अच्छा ये पूजा कब की जाती है? ये गौरी पूजा. I said I do not know anything about it. I'm not a pandit. But जो घर में माहौल देखा है, वो है. So I'm very glad Dono is come out of their generation. I mean, they've just played.
Yeah.
And I'm so proud to say that I've seen them do workshops. I mean, we never did. Salman, Bhageshri, because we never understood what it was.
Yeah.
But they worked through scenes and scenes and scenes. And I used to come to their set and just take the one takes are okay. I mean, मैंने सलमान का था 20 take 21. हम लोग
वो ज़माना ही अलग था.
But core Avnish has maintained a balance between modern and tradition even in Dono, and that is I'm very proud of.
I can see that, I'm telling you. But you know, like he mentioned, times have changed. In today's time for actors, it has become so much more important to be relevant. Rajveer, I want to ask you actually, because this is also, ye last 2 months mein, you're also seeing your father deliver. I mean, he's of the times that we are talking about where we relish nostalgia wala. उन्होंने यही साल में बस पिछले ही महीने एक इतनी बड़ी मतलब blockbuster दी है, which means that he's still relevant.
Yes.
You are debuting at the time where relevance is being questioned every other day because of social media. There are too many mediums today, and it's become a mandate. He's relevant even without being too active, you know. So how do you see all of that? Is that a pressure? Because now, जैसे मैंने ये पूछा है, I'm sure everyone is going to ask. There is I mean, he's just delivered something and you are just debuting. दोनों एक ही परिवार से, and there is, I mean, the contrast is so real. Is there a sense of like, how do you look at it? I'm not calling it pressure because मतलब कोई comparison नहीं कर सकते. He's your dad after all. But how do you look at it personally?
I think it's also two different movies. Yeah, two different complete movies. First of all, I'm so happy for him. Just full of joy seeing him work so hard and finally, you know, it's been a dream sometimes. We all are shocked on the results.
Yeah.
So the way I look at this pressure, obviously there is pressure to live up to such a legacy like that. But again, I just try not to think about it too much.
Also the relevance, because at this time when I'm talking, your grandfather had made headlines for being the most relevant actor of all times. Your father is making headlines for the same, and you are making headlines for your debut.
Yes.
There is this entire question of how do you stay relevant for all these years? You've been an observer yourself. You tell me what has been your biggest learning in all this?
The funny part is we don't really promote ourselves that much. So I think what they did before Gadar 2, they released Gadar 1, so that got a little bit of the buzz going. And staying relevant to that, my family really doesn't talk about that much. They don't tell me to go out or be relevant or you know, create some controversy online to get some heat going towards my way. They just said just work on your acting. Your characters you play are timeless.
Yeah.
And his characters are timeless. They will last
True.
100 years from now also. And that I think everyone connects to. And I find it funny when people think what cinema works, because I think is a reality and an expectation. And reality, none of us know what works. None of us know what people really want. I remember 6 months from now, everyone was scared to release movie in theatres.
Yeah, true.
And then out of nowhere, you had Pathan first, then you had Gadar 2. So it's just, you really do not know what people crave or need. So I think what Sir also said, you should forget about people's expectation while making a movie.
I made 7 films and every time the audience has surprised me.
Really?
Every time I can tell you, I've gone thinking I'm this, thrashed or appreciated.
Yeah. Even with Uchai, when everyone had an expectation कि अच्छा okay, it will do a certain number, but it was so well received.
I've never got this audience in Malad and all that. I'm the better at Nagpur and Igatpuri, and suddenly I'm getting screening and the Malad is there full. So it's a big thing for me. But you know, it's just you have to only make what you believe in.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. And in life also, ये तो films हैं.
हाँ.
But सबसे बड़ा इस कन्विक्शन और नियत होनी चाहिए. नियत हो, जिस दिन ये बच्चों को ये लगे कि अभी चलेगा ना, 2 घंटे बाद ले लूँगा शॉट या लंच ब्रेक और करेंगे, क्या होता है. No, everything is, so that is the niyat. So whether you talk of Dharam ji, Sunny ji or Poonam ji or anyone who lasts, they have to have the niyat correct.
Yeah,
that
true.
is the thing. Sincerity and the passion that shows in cinema.
So I want to know, you have known them in a different capacity before before you all got on the set on the first day, but when you saw them act, right? And this I'm saying professionally, I mean workshops, auditions are different. But when on set, did they surprise you at any given point of time where you were like, you know, I thought you could do this, but you have exceeded my expectation? Were there moments like that?
Oh, all the time, all the time, all the time. With because what happened is, again, for any director, it's my first film, so I can't speak with that much experience. But I think for any director, from what I know of the profession, I feel that the best thing that can happen is you have actors who are as involved as you are. And Rajveer and Paloma both embraced the characters. So Dev and Meghna, their characters in the film, they became more than what I'd put on paper.
Yeah.
They became a mix of what I'd put on paper and how Rajveer or how Paloma thought of them and wanted to make them real. So there were so many scenes where, you know, we rehearsed, we thought about, we planned things together, but in the spontaneous moment when after action, Rajveer just gave me a moment of pure magic, or Paloma just gave me an expression that I'd never seen in any workshop that we'd done. They surprised. I stopped getting surprised because I knew what they were capable of, you know, and that collaboration, that time that we got together, it also helped me become a better director because I realized that I can truly trust. Ek hota hai, ek dar rehta hai ki, can you trust, you know, how, you want things under your control. But filmmaking is collaborative, and until you learn how to collaborate, I learned that from my father as well, until you learn how to collaborate, and especially with actors who are so involved, it was magical.
And that's why we see magic being created on screen as well. Music again has been something, a very integral part of Rajshri productions. In the times that we live in, where remakes are taking over originals, it is really nice to see a very fresh album. But tell me how difficult again, or what are the key points that you keep in mind when you're working on a fresh album? Because music is the core of most of the stories, especially for a story like this. So were there key points that you kept in mind, okay, I want a song, a certain kind of song, a certain singer for it? Like, how did you go about it?
So this entire album, again, very, very lucky that I got to work with Shankar Ehsaan Loy and with Irshad Kamilji, who gets that chance, you know, to work with both of them, with all of them. When we were writing the script, we knew it was a musical. So there are 7 songs, and each song had to take the story forward. So again, very lucky that Shankar Ehsaan Loy, Irshad ji, they were very keen to hear the script again and again because they wanted to know what kind of song would fit the mood, would fit the situation, how the lyrics could take the story forward. And that honestly became what defined our entire process of writing, of their process of writing the songs. And I was just very happy spectator over there. You know, it's like a fanboy just enjoying like that. Ye sab meri film ke liye ho raha hai. And that entire process was just fantastic.
You know, my next question actually, Rajveer, correct me if I'm wrong, I read somewhere that you mentioned that your father never wanted you to be an actor, and when you told him that you want to be an actor, he was surprised and he hoped that you would reconsider your decision. Now that you've finally made, अब तो मतलब वो बात बहुत दूर की हो गई है, अब तो आप finally debut कर रहे हो. What is the response that you're getting? Have they watched a certain, of course trailer देखा होगा, I don't know if they've watched the film already or at least rushes of it. What are they saying? What are the response? Are they happy that you've finally taken the right decision of being an actor?
Dad's happy. I don't think I ever had a conversation where I told him I want to become an actor. He just always knew that I would go towards this thing. Yeah, they were very happy, and Dad was relieved. I think he told Avnish, my son can act.
Yeah.
He didn't tell me. Yes, that I know very well.
He also speaks very less. He's taken that from his dad only, I think. But my last question actually, Sooraj ji, producer के तौर पे तो हम आपको अब देख ही रहे हैं इस फिल्म में, but आपके directorial का भी हमें बहुत ज़्यादा इंतज़ार है. And Salman has been hinting for the longest time about a film that is supposed to happen with you. What is happening? Is there a film in place? Is there a script in place? You have to give us a hint about this, please.
Yeah, I'm starting with him. It'll be, I'll start mid next year.
Okay.
Because when I make a film or any other film. You know, today at the stage where I am as a director, it's my own, it's a thing I started with, where as a director, then I become very selfish. Then I really want to make what I want to make, and then I tend to write myself. So when I write myself, then I take my own time.
Yeah.
And with him now, as we grow older, it becomes to do something much more special, much more special. So yeah, I'll start. But right now it's all Dono.
Yeah.
Because for us, any film at Rajshri is our own film.
Yeah.
And it's a special film, Dono, because it has a different voice after 35 years. And I hope that Rajshri takes a step forward. So we have one My Cinema running, one Avnish's Cinema running, and we have more films like this where even new voices. It's one of its kind, where we have a new pair being launched, and in a story which I think is very relevant today. And the more when he tells me about the back story, the more I feel I don't understand this world. I feel it's correct, because it's a director, it's a vision, it's a new generation, and I'm really looking forward how Rajshri can move forward.
But you know, I'm so sorry, I want to take that forward, my last question, because I feel that it's very rare for people to listen. And for a director who has worked in the industry for that long, to be able to be open to ideas that, okay, time has changed and we need to evolve with time while retaining what we really like. You have been able to do that. Is that sense of maturity been always there, or you have also learned it watching people fail or succeed in their own endeavors?
No, you learn only. सीखता तो कोई नहीं, ego सब फिर छूट जाता है. But essentially, you realize now that yes, change is the most constant thing. Yeah. And in a society, what worked for at my time, what works at my age group is different from the next generation. So I found so many things on the set, humor, the way they react to the scenes. As a director, I have gone through this whole thing. So how I would make my actors react, how Avnish is making them react, and today I find that their performances are so much more real than at my time when I made Maine Pyar Kiya. We used to put up not a show, but we used to make it look acting. Yeah. I mean, to my actors, I would say, okay, can we have a little more smile? They'll understand. But here, they need to be told why to smile. I mean, why is Meghna smiling? And I know how he'll explain much more in detail about this, what is
the backstory.
हमारे टाइम पे इतना स्क्रिप्ट होते नहीं थे. एक 20 मिनट में कहानी सुना देते थे. हाँ, actually, and literally it should be 4 songs, 3 songs, 2 songs. If you ask your mom, it will be much more older. जहाँ कहाँ 2 गाने हैं, एक विलन है, and लड़की तो उठती थी, फिर विलन हीरो बचाता था.
Very standard style of saying.
So I've had various discussions with Avnish where I've told him this way. No, he said this is my point of view. And it's my maturity as a producer I respect, because it should be his vision. Yeah. So I think that is सीखते पढ़ते पढ़ते सीखा हूँ मैं भी.
No, but that is why I keep saying that it's magical. Two strangers, one destination, and I think the destination is theatres for all of us, because we'll be watching it soon in the theatres. Congratulations to the entire team. I feel this will be a turning point in Rajshri Productions for all of you, and I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.